Hey guys, Molly here with Design Loves Detail. Today we're going to be talking about styling your bed to make it look designer like you see in the magazine, so stay tuned for more. While you guys are here, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of future videos. Give us a like and a comment to let me know what you guys, if you guys have tips for your own bed and how you make it. This is kind of my strategies that I've used over the years, so we'll get into those. Also, you can find me over at Design Loves Detail on Instagram or designlovesdetail.com for more, all kinds of home content. Anything you're looking for. So with beds, I love to have a little bit of a layered look. I think that's part of what makes it where you just want to dive into the bed. Sometimes if you go to showrooms, like really pretty home showrooms, you'll see beds made and it's just lots of layers and you want it to feel fluffy. I really do think that that's a great way to go because at the end of the day, who doesn't want a bed that just looks like you want to dive into it? So one way that I do that is I usually have a quilt or a duvet as the main piece and I'll fold that down. Like you can see here, this is folded down to where it's really about halfway folded back. And then I put another layer across the top. In this case, this really amazing textured, this is a coverlet. And I am obsessed with how that detail is with the texture and then the fringe on the end. It just adds so much interest to this bed. Most of the time with beds, you kind of get like almost like a dead space between where the pillows are and the end of the bed. And so for me, it's just a perfect opportunity to put any kind of texture or interesting detail. I usually do a contrasting color, depending on the look you're going for. Sometimes just layers of the same type of tones, kind of a tone on tone look is really pretty too. And then just make sure they have different textures so that you don't have them all blend together. This bedroom, it has that whole modern farmhouse vibe that's very cozy. And so a quilt was the perfect solution. A lot of times I do a duvet cover with the duvet insert, but a lot of times when you have guests and company, it's nice to have more of a quilt. Just, I mean, it feels a little bit more like home. In this case too, I did a nice gray linen sheet. So this bed is probably a little more colorful than a lot of the ones I do. I typically do white sheets, but this one just had a different feel to the room. And so I kind of planned accordingly. This pillow is one of my favorites. It's from Target. I love keeping the pillows kind of more simple and then just doing one that's like a real statement maker, like this long one, because it's so unique and it really makes your job easy. I just tied it into the color of the quilt. So we have mostly that cream, a little bit of the tan in the pattern, which is so pretty. And these pillows are called Euro pillows, and they are actually, you can see a sham, not like a sham, like that's a sham, but just a pillow sham. So Euro pillows are one of my favorites because they are square. So they just have kind of like a little bit more modern look than your typical pillows. I usually just lay the standard pillows for sleeping at the top of the bed. Sometimes I'll double them up, put 2 stacked, and then usually some Euro pillows. I do 2 for a queen, or if you're doing a king size bed, get 3 of the Euro pillows. They're usually about 26 by 26, sometimes more like 24 by 24, but they're just a nice substantial look that keeps the overall style really clean and tailored looking. In this room, you can see that I kept kind of a similar formula where we have the sheets and then the main bedspread, in this case, this quilt, this textured quilt, folded back down, and then we've got the textured layer right over top. And these are pretty, this is kind of one of those that's more like a tone on tone. We have the white and the cream and then the taupe. So it's really subtle, but again, it feels kind of like that resort type of bedding. We want it to feel kind of like a fancy hotel, especially when you have guests. It's just that fresh, clean feel is so wonderful. And then again, simple pillows. I kind of like, I pretty most commonly would say that I do a 3 pillow setup like this with a couple, especially for a queen size. For the king, you need a little bit more, but I love to just have one longer one in the front with a couple in the middle and then just some nice texture. This one has a little more pattern too. I love the stripes always. And then you can see the standard pillows are just laid flat. Also, if you guys are in a colder climate, if you're doing, this is pretty warm here, so I didn't worry about it here. But another thing that you can do is take a blanket and put that on top of the sheets and run it all the way to the pillow so that you have a blanket and then your quilt and then your textured piece across. And that one, if I'm doing a blanket layer, I just usually take that all the way to the top. But you do in that case want it to be a really pretty looking one because it is what is seen on the top of the bed. Here in the primary bedroom, pretty much the same strategy that I've talked about where we have the quilt folded back and then a beautiful textured piece across the bottom. This is one of my favorites from Target. It comes in a bunch of colors and just that that knit woven detail so pretty. And here I actually did 2 oversized pillows instead of the typical 3 or 4 like I was talking about. Again, you'll see that we just have the sleeping pillows laid flat, and I have linen sheets here, which I love because they have that little natural crinkle to them. And this pillow is such a beautiful one for interest, and we've got kind of a texture on this one. So those contrasting pillows really finish the space, and I love when they're kind of unique sizes like this because we can get away with doing something like this where there's just 2 and it still feels like a total statement maker. So those are kind of my tips for how I make beds, and thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell, leave us a comment and a like, and we will see you next time.